These aren't my best photos. They're not the most technically impressive ones. They're not the ones that I necessarily am going to submit anywhere serious. But these are the photos that, as I scroll through the last year, through all the photos I took in 2025, these are the ones that made me stop for a moment. They made me think. The ones that I took a second look at, the ones that made me feel something. I tried to pick photos that would be kind of universally appreciated, but I'm biased, of course. I took these photos. So some of these are purely just because the story behind them, what they mean to me. I'm gonna try to move fast with these. There's way more photos than I thought there would be. There's some that are similar that I couldn't pick between, so I included both. I'll go with photo and share a little context for each and why that one stood out for me. So first one, very beginning of the year, cold, snow, skyways, quintessential downtown Minneapolis. And this is a good picture because this is completely normal to me. I've lived here for a decade, but it's probably strange to a lot of people. And that contrast really matters to me as a creator. What feels every day for one person can feel completely novel to somebody else. And so I want to represent that well in my work. These are the moments that I want to lean more into. Photo 2. This is my first black and white photo of the year. I love the contrast. I love the shadows. I love the texture. I love how black and white strips things down and lets kind of the moment speak without distractions. Photo 3, black and white from an overpass looking snowy freeway. Again, this is just life here. But seeing it framed this way because I grew up in California made me feel like, oh, that is weird. Next photo, downtown Minneapolis. It's snowy. It's, again, downtown in a snowstorm. It's novel to a lot of the world. Next photo, this black and white of this guitarist at a live show that I was at. This guy was having more fun than anyone else in the room. I watched him closely the entire night. This next one is of my buddy Rich at that same show. I love the colors, I love the lights, I loved his expression. I don't photograph people a bunch in this series, but this one felt right to include. Rich loves music, and I feel like you can see him fully taking it in this photo. Photo 7 is the boardwalk down in Galveston, Houston. I don't remember the name of the boardwalk, but I remember how nice it was to travel to somewhere warm this time of year. The next photo is that same boardwalk, different angle in black and white. Again, this is one that I couldn't choose between. Same place, completely different mood. I love that contrast. Next photo is from Post in Houston. I love this place. I love this photo. The plants, the light, the sunglasses on the table. It feels like lived in, like a place that's used and not necessarily just staged. Next one, sunset from the top of Post. It's overlooking downtown Houston. It's hard to beat that kind of light. The next one's a coffee shop we stumbled into. It was called Circle Coffee in Topeka, Kansas. And a lot of my photography happens in coffee shops. We work in coffee. I love the coffee culture. It's where I naturally notice things. This photo is the back of our corner coffee bags, and this might feel like an odd inclusion, but it represents a project that I'm really proud of. It's something I created this year, and that matters to me in this whole process. This photo is light dancing off the buildings in the North Loop. Just timing, attention. Here's another black and white photo. This one of the behind our mobile coffee bar. I spent a lot of time behind our coffee cart this year, and this photo feels like a record of that. This next set is ones we took on our trip while we were in the Baltics. The first one is from inside of Kokomo Coffee Roasters in Tallinn, Estonia. It was one of my favorite coffee shops for the entire trip. This old espresso machine caught my eye. And then this next photo is kind of how they serve their pour-overs. I love seeing how different places, different coffee shops serve kind of the same thing, but they do it a little bit different. This next one's another cafe nearby. I like the light, the plants, the espresso machine. I don't even think we ordered coffee here. I think we just got pastries, but I captured this moment. Here is Tallinn, Estonia, Old Town at night. We didn't really have an agenda. We were just exploring what the city had to offer. This photo shows kind of the Soviet era housing. It's harsh and militarian, but kind of still beautiful in its own way. The way it contrasts kind of modern life is interesting. Then we stopped by the sea on our drive from Tallinn to Riga. And it's clearly that this was built for summer. No one was here, but it still was beautiful in its own right. Then we found this meal This is one of the probably the few food photos I included just because of how beautiful this dish was. This food was top notch, so good. And then attached to it was this coffee shop. And again, coffee shops, everywhere I go, there'll be photos of them. Then we made down to Riga. This photo is us looking straight up at the buildings and the sun cutting through it. I like these odd perspective photos on occasion. This one is from the top of the tallest church in Riga. There's so much history in this church. I wish I could remember the name of it off the top of my head. It's shot kind of through the gate or the fencing that holds you in at the top. And I love how it just kind of framed up these old buildings. The next day I got up and went for a walk and just captured kind of the city as the sun was rising, as the city was waking up. This one's another morning angle. And then this is my favorite photo in Riga. It's just, I don't know, it speaks to how modern life can be layered alongside these very old buildings. Kind of like this idea of time being stacked on itself. And then we made our way down to Vilnius. And this one is the inside of Back Alley Coffee. It was a cool space, great energy. This photo is just more of the seating there. It was comfortable, a place that you could be and belong. And then obviously pastries. All these coffee shops here had top-notch pastries. The pastries in the Baltics were unreal, and this place stood out. This photo is street signs in front of this sunlit building, and I don't know what any of them say. And I kind of love that. I love having a photo that to the locals means a lot. To me, means nothing. I don't know what these signs mean, but I like the texture they add. Here's a photo of this really old church that's like an old orange brick church, and then there was this field of poppies, and so I got this photo of kind of these orange poppies or these orange flowers framing up the church, and I like the colors with the blue sky breaking through, so you have this contrast of blue, orange. I think it's nice. Here is a morning walk through Old Town in Vilnius. I did this a lot, got up early, take photos of the sunrise, sun hitting the streets. It's always one of my favorite times to shoot. Here is a super cool old yellow BMW in front of this house, and I don't know why, but this feels very like real Vilnius to me, not polished or touristy, but just like the real life of people that live here. This photo is outdoor seating in modern downtown Vilnius. It's a nice contrast to the old city. It's new, it's beautiful, very lively and full of people. Here is Kelsey and I at the top of the castle in Vilnius. I wanted to include one photo of us in the set, and so she looks super cute in this photo, so I thought I would include it. Here is Scott pointing at where we had been earlier. He had been here a couple times before. He knew the city well. He guided us through it. So this photo really kind of represents this trip. Next one is at the Trakai, I don't know how you say it, I'm sorry. Island Castle. You walk across this footbridge to get to the castle. The lake around the castle was full of sailboats, and I just thought it was really cool contrast. All right, back to Minneapolis. This is a newly redone bridge at sunrise. I captured out while riding my one wheel in the morning. I just happened to be there at the right time. And then this next photo is same day, different bridge, but at the end of the day, this kind of shadows are just starting to stretch across the city. This is a black and white photo that I took in Loring Park. And at first, it kind of almost felt uncomfortable, like it has too much texture in the photo. And then I noticed this man sitting on the bench in the lower left reading his book. And him and how tiny he is and how calm he is in contrast to this massive tree. It's kind of grown on me, and I think I want to print this one. Here's a black and white photo of a runner running across the Broadway Bridge here in Minneapolis. This year I started running more, so this feels like a quiet marker of that new hobby in my life. Here's a photo of Como Zoo Conservatory. I love that the black and white lets the texture of the glass and the plants kind of set the stage and set the feel. And then this next set of photos is from a trip that we took up to the North Shore. This first one is inside of the New Scenic Cafe. And everything in this place is super understated, and I believe they do that so the food can be the star. And so this photo feels like that philosophy to me. Every time I go there, everything is just easy and comfortable, and then you get served these incredible dishes, and the food just stands in contrast to just how normal I guess everything else is in the place. I say that in a good way. Like, it's my favorite restaurant in the entire state of Minnesota. So it's a good thing. I love that. We made it up to Grand Marais, and here's Lake Superior in black and white. I love the balance of this photo. It feels massive, and that's what Lake Superior feels like, is massive. Here's one that if you've done any hiking in the North Shore, I hope feels familiar. Pine trees, sun filtering through. Again, if you've been there, you know the feeling. This might be my favorite North Shore photo. I'm not 100% sure, but I love how weather torn this tree is and how it's growing out of the rock. It's battered and broken and still standing. And I think that's what makes it beautiful. Like, it's completely imperfect and destroyed and has had the hardest life, but it's there and it's beautiful. Here's a photo that I like, the contrast of the soft light hitting this rugged North Shore rock. This rough texture and gentleness of the morning sun kind of captured in the same frame. Here's a moment of being back in Minneapolis. This is a quintessential Minneapolis scene. A cyclist. We are one of the nation's leading places for bicyclists, and I don't know if I took a photo that feels more Minneapolis than this one. Photo 50. I was in Washington, D.C., and I took this photo with the Washington Monument with all this negative space above it. And for me, I don't want to get political, but for me, this photo is a reminder of perspective, of how small power actually is and how my hope doesn't rest in all of that. Here's another one from Washington, D.C. This couple walking their dog near the Navy Yard at night. Kind of just the normal life of D.C. that I don't think is ever represented well. Here's a photo of a tree that's refusing to drop its leaves. And I feel connected to this tree. I feel like that's me in the fall, not ready to let go of the light and the warmth and all of summer, and just holding on to it with every last bit of energy that I can. Here's a photo of the locks in Minneapolis, looking south towards the Stone Arch Bridge. I feel like it's almost impossible not to find something interesting here. And then looking down from that similar space, there's these logs that get piled up on the falls. And I always stop to look at it when I'm there. I just love how they kind of sit there and get stuck. Next one is two people walking on a path near Nicollet Island. Just a simple mid-fall moment. Here's another black and white of our coffee cupping table. This is like process, routine. It's work that I'm proud to be a part of. And so capturing this moment represents a lot of the work that we've done. And then we get all the way back, full circle, back to snow. Our first snowfall. I love the reflection of the spiral staircase in the window. It pulls me back into this photo often. This one is the old Masonic temple as snow's falling. And I feel like when you take photos in the snow, snowflakes do a lot of the work for you. Here's a photo of a tree in front of a perfectly ordered building. I love the contrast of this photo. I feel like there's like nature versus structure, the chaos of nature versus the control of humanity represented in this photo. I find it interesting. And then this last photo is downtown Minneapolis. This represents kind of my everyday. This is what I experience as I walk from the coffee shop down to the gym, birds flying above. I love the way that they are captured in this photo in my daily walk. And it captures so much what I love about the city. And so that's it. That is 60 photos. Again, way more than I expected. This video ended up being way longer than I expected. And this process reminded me how much my eye and my perspective has changed, how my style has shifted over the course of a year. And I think that's a good thing. Some things that stand out to me: I really like black and white. I like texture. I like contrast. And so I think I'm going to lean more into that. I'll probably do some prints of some of these works. If that's something you're interested in, let me know. Maybe a photo book of the year. I'm not totally sure yet. But I'm glad you took the time to notice the things, the photos, the moments in life that made me stop and take a photo. And then again, reviewing them made me stop once again and remember that moment. So thanks for watching.